We are back, everyone, with 428 Shibuya Scramble. We beat the game, and we got what is known as the normal end. There are other endings to get, and this doesn't quite count as endings, but I'm gonna go for some bad endings. You know what's funny? Is that apparently one of the other endings is triggered by getting 50 or more bad ends, and I think I have 49 by pure coincidence. So, let's do this. Let's go way back. We were so innocent back then. I'm gonna load up Kano, but all I really want to do is load somebody so I can get into the ending list. Bad ending list. This is the list of bad endings. Here you can check for hints as to why things ended as badly as they did. Thanks. So sure, here's something we don't know what it is, So long Shibuya, we got that. So that's pretty good. So what I would like to see if I can do is get other bad ends. So let me see what I need to do. I will go to... I need bad endings 2 and 3. So let's do this. Let's go to Kano at 10:30. I hope that's it. To follow or not? What was the right call here? Take this guy down or back off. Apparently I've already selected the other things, I don't know. But I'll let the other officers chase him. I got my own job to do. There we go. And I can't skip this. Kano had almost gotten close enough to get a good look at the guy's face, but if Kuze had ordered him to let the guy go, well, his boss should know what he was doing. The perp was someone else's problem now. And now it saves. Kano headed back to the scramble and took up his post again. Hitomi was still standing at the handoff point, staring worriedly in the direction that the suspect had fled. No doubt she was wondering why, all of a sudden, the police had decided to let the guy go. Kano jogged over to Hitomi before he could reassure her. Achi? That's fantastic! Hiya! A sudden blow from behind sent him sprawling to the ground. Kano's mind flooded with rage as he scrabbled back to his feet. I guess that kind of works. What the hell? He spun around to find himself grappling with a belligerent young man. What the hell is your problem? Kano snapped. What the hell is your problem? The stranger shot back. Let go of me. You let go of me first. After you let go of me, sure. You first, pal. Don't you call me pal, man. Don't call me man, pal. Man, this is stupid. The crowd had begun to stare. Not good. Here he was, causing a scene in public, blowing his cover in the middle of an important case. This was neither the time nor place for some dumb random quarrel. Even as he came to his senses, Kano felt the strength ebb from the stranger's grip. He pushed the man away and quickly turned back toward Hitomi. Oh no. She was gone. He scanned the area for any sign of her, but she had vanished without a trace. Kuze's mobile command center had also disappeared. What did I miss? The blood drained from Kano's face. The investigation had left him utterly behind. There wasn't even any signal on his radio. They must have switched frequencies while he was caught up in the tussle. Kano turned back to confront the troublemaker. He was gone too. This is embarrassing. Hey there, Meowington, Danny, Fakafan. Kano spun on his heel, searching, but the young man was nowhere in sight. The attaché case, Hitomi, the troublemaker. He'd lost all three. Right out of the starting gate, he'd bungled the entire operation. He should have left Ateno to look after Hitomi and gone after the attaché case himself. What the hell was he doing? Kano felt his self-confidence ebbing away, like water. Maybe it's time to move back to the sticks. Maybe Tokyo's too fast-paced for a screw-up like me. He had no idea what to do next, and so he just stood there, frozen. Already drafting his letter of resignation in his head. Oh my god. Good lord. What an embarrassing ending. Ugh. What is this one called? Lost Sight of the Kidnapper. Oh my god. Kano lost sight of Hitomi because of his scuffle with Achi Endo. If he had chased after the thief who took the attaché case, this probably wouldn't have happened. Go back to Kano's 10:30 timestamp and try making a different choice. This is really early game, so they just straight up tell you. That's magnificent. Uh-oh. Look at that. It's our 50th ending! White bookmark! That just happens to have been our, hello there, Insane Buffoon. That happens to have been our 50th ending, so we get an ending! You'll find a match soon. This music. I want to be a strong person. Yeah, this is like, Suzune. Please be happy for me. Hello there, Grim Reaper Dean. Heartbeat of spring. What? Suzune preview added the bonus content. There you go. There you go. Look at that. We have a Suzune ending. We've already gotten the normal ending. That's the Suzune ending. Damn, this is going well. First, let me reactivate the timeline. Because that's unfortunate. Yeah. Let's go back to what it should be. And save. We're good, ladies and gentlemen. We did it. So now I'm going to go for Bad End 3. 10:30 again. I hope that was right. Yeah, it's a follow or not. Should hit this guy down. Yeah, we want to let the perp... Yeah, we gotta catch him ASAP. Does this go anywhere, though? This might... I wonder if this is before I do anything with Achi? Because this should just take me to where I need to go. What if I select Achi at 10:30 and do something different? Yeah, there's this gap in the middle, right? And it just skips to here. So there's got to be something I do with Achi that changes something. But I don't know. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Getting some of these endings is going to be annoying because, like, it would have made more sense if I had done things completely in order. I think we've already done the B choice for here. So I'll do that. I'll skip to the choice. Let's just get out of here. Eh? So we'll load that. And I'll see if this makes a difference, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, this leads to... Okay, this might be good. This might be good. Maybe this will lead to a bad end in Kano's thing because of something I couldn't control. Let's do that. Let the perp escape. This might be what I want. Oh, Winterburn, shouldn't we work from the end? That could work, actually. Maybe I'll do that after Chapter 1. So we're chasing the perp. He noticed two people over by a trash pile. At first they appeared to be a young couple. Then, looking more closely, he realized that the girl was Hitomi. Mr. Kuze, I've located Hitomi Osawa. The couple took off running, the rough-looking guy dragging Hitomi by the hand. She's with the man in his 20s. It looks like she's being led away against her will. Clarify, please, Kuze demanded. What's going on? I'm not sure. Was this guy a member of some criminal group? It looked like the two were running away from something. Alright, we'll handle the foreigner. You go after Hitomi. Got it. Kano sprang into action. Stop right there! The young man glanced back at Kano, but rather than stopping, he picked up speed, continuing to drag Hitomi along with him. She didn't seem quite able to keep up. Kano knew he could catch them. He tried to close the distance in a sprint. Oh boy. After a short distance, the young man stopped, realizing he couldn't outrun his pursuer. And we got this showdown? This is crazy. Shielding Hitomi behind him, he glowered at Kano. Why'd you run off? Kano demanded. Because you were chasing us. A blatant lie. People didn't just bolt like that without good reason. The young tough started edging away, keeping Hitomi behind him. Kano followed. Look, just let the girl go. The guy glanced back at Hitomi. She shook her head fearfully. Maybe this troublemaker had warned her to keep her mouth shut? You've got this, Kano. Just don't let them out of your sight. Gah! A sudden blow to the top of his head left him staggering. What? His eyes spun as he reeled with vertigo. What? There was a flapping sound, and a vague black shape wheeled above him. Was that a crow? What? I've heard of throwing the book at him, but this is ridiculous. It was the last thing Kano saw before his vision went dark. That's a stupid bad end. Okay. Glad I got that. In the midst of chasing the man who snatched the attaché case, Kano happened across Hitomi and Achi. While confronting them, he suffered a blow to the head and was knocked out cold, but Achi only came this way because he thought it was the quickest way to escape with Hitomi. If he'd gone for the police box instead, things might have gone differently. The key is what Achi does at 10:35. That was a dumb ending. But then again, we've gotten freaking shot in Chapter 1, so you never know. Alright, I'll go back to the Achi decision. It looks like he was killed by a crow or something. Oh wait, let's do the save. Whip! And we're golden. What other bad ends? What? Oh, I have to... Can I not view it from the time chart? Oh, damn it. Alright, I actually have to zoom in to be able to see the bad end list. Fine. Bad ending list, please. Look at that, we're filling out nicely. How many bad ends are there, though? I'm curious. Also, do I really have to read the guide every time? Oh boy. 79. Yeah, 79. Damn, and we only have 51? You know, chat, here's a question. I'm going to finish Chapter 1 because I started Chapter 1, but after I do Chapter 1, would you like to see me attempt more bad ends, do the Suzuna ending, or try the pop quiz? I am curious. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, how many bad ends are in Chapter 1? I gotta find that out. There's 3... Where does it show me my list? 3, 4. I have 4. I have 5. I'm missing 6. 7 goes straight to 9? Who's 8? The hell? Oh, 8's way down here. But I need ending 6 next anyway. So let's do that. Let's go with that. In the meantime, what's the chat's vote? Yeah, right, Winterburn was kind of, that crow was kind of hit by a dictum. Meowington, oh, you bet there are secret endings. Like, we just unlocked the Suzuna ending. I just haven't watched it yet. I'll see what other people do. Suzuna, we got 2 votes for Suzuna. We'll see what other people think. Anyway, ending 6. Let's go to Achi. At 10:35. Look at that. And we'll go to What's the Deal? And Achi couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. We already got that. We have 1 vote for more bad ends, but we have 4 votes for Suzuna. Also, hello there, Douglas. Maybe I need to do something with bad end 6 to reveal, or bad end 5 to reveal that thing. This is gonna bother me. Because if Achi couldn't shake the feeling, that should lead to this. I guess I'll see what happens. We definitely want to do the thing where he couldn't shake the feeling. It's gotta be something with Kano then, I think, to manipulate this. But to follow or not changes that, doesn't it? So how do I make this make sense? Unless I do something completely different with Kano. You know what? Maybe I'll do the no-follow thing and then manipulate Achi. Kano has his own job to do, which is a dumbass thing to do. There's the save. Let's do that. In the meantime, we'll see what the chat has to say. Yeah, another Suzuna vote. I think we're doing Suzuna. Anyway, this leads to Kano's bad end. What if I do Achi? Let's try this out. So let's see what happens when Kano's not here to do his job. Yeah, here we go. A revolver, but this time I don't know what's coming after that. The man in black, or the man with a cane. A revolver? Suddenly, a young man came running through the crowd. Seeing him, the man with the cane turned on his heel and vanished in the scramble. Something big was going down. What is all this? The young man was closing in on the girl, his expression grim. That guy's up to no good. Achi sprang into motion. Jeez! So this is the other side of Kano's bad end, only I'm the one causing it. Leaping high, Achi delivered a flying kick right between the man's shoulder blades. Jeez. And there's the thing. He went down, but recovered surprisingly fast, spinning back to his feet to grapple with Achi. Da-da-da-da-da. Achi snapped. Let go of me. You let go of me first. Blah, 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 blah. No one was willing to yield. Everyone's staring. The crowd had parted to avoid the scuffle. Passers-by were staring from all sides. Well, crap. Achi got a sudden, sinking feeling. What the hell am I even doing? Jumped in over my head, as usual. His anger melted away. He loosened his grip. Without further argument, the other man let go of Achi's jacket. Turning quickly away, the stranger hurried over to the statue of Hachiko, where he dropped to his knees dejected. The girl who had been standing there was nowhere to be seen. Maybe this was the guy she'd been waiting on? The guy was clearly upset that she was missing. Achi actually kind of felt bad for him. He decided it would be wise to leave while the guy's attention was elsewhere. There you go. Whew. He hurried back along the road to his house. The wind had gone out of his sails, and he didn't feel much like cleaning up trash anymore. Ah, well. Guess I'll read some manga and go to bed. And go to bed? It's 10:30 a.m.? What the hell are you talking about? Better play it safe before the day got any worse. Just forget this entire day, I'm out. That's kind of amazing. I guess I'll read manga until 11 or noon and just, that's my day. Tussle with the stranger. Achi's interference with the young man, it was Kano, disrupted the detective's sting. If Achi hadn't acted on impulse when he saw Kano heading for Atomi, things might have gone differently. But how can you make sure Kano doesn't return to the scramble and startle Achi? The key lies further along in Kano's story. Also, like, what a stupid ending. Hey! That's every end in the first block, ladies and gentlemen. But let me go back to Kano and make the right decision. Achievements! Video games. This is definitely a game that you might want to play with a guide the entire time and just make all the right decisions and then undo them. So now the timeline has been restored. Hooray! Okay, so we got that. How do I do the Suzuna ending? Oh, that's right, it was in bonus options, right? How do I bonus option? How do I bonus option? I forgot how this works. Unless I go into like the game and then press start from there. How do I go back to the main menu? Oh, there we go. Back to title screen. Hooray! Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. New bonus content. How do I do... Suzuna! You'll find a match soon. Do I get to do anything with this? Because it just said preview. That makes me a little nervous. I want to be a strong... We've seen this already. But can I actually do anything with it, though? I guess we'll see. Oh yes, Danny, this is on PS4. So do I do anything with this, or is that just that's the whole video? Yeah, how do I go in? These all say preview. Like, how do I do this? Yeah, they all say preview. Although it is really cool to see that the stuff whenever I want. I'll do the pop quiz shortly, but how do I Suzuna preview? Oh, it might be a new game actually. Because if I load game, then it's just this. 52 bad ends, baby. But yeah, how do I do the Suzuna thing? It can't be a new game, could it? No way, no way. How do I actually do that? I'm still gonna load my game here. I'm gonna go right back in. How do I Suzuna? Oh, wait, unless I scroll to the end of the timeline. Oh, there it is. R1 for bonus. Hello. Also, wait. What's this? Why is it just these two? Oh, Jesus, that scared me. That really scared me. Oh my god. Alright. R1 for bonus, baby. Suzuna. Look at that. We got mystery stuff going on here. Huh? But we got Suzuna. Let's go. Meowington, I don't believe the epilogue changes. I mean, there might be ways to unlock different endings. So who knows? Maybe it will regard those redemption options. I'll look into that later. It was almost 1 o'clock. Oh, hello there, Desinoj. Takuya Kazuma watched the orderly collect his meal tray, waiting for the door to fully close behind him before slipping out of bed. He dragged the folding chair closer to the window and sat down. Then he meticulously scanned the entire length of the vast central courtyard outside. From up here, on the second floor, he had a great view of the whole open space. The hospital building was shaped like a boxy U, enclosing a promenade that wove its way between the trees, where pajama-clad patients and visitors from their families were enjoying the first day of sunshine to come along in a while. Not yet. She still isn't here. I seem to be doing okay today. If she does show up in the courtyard, I'll sneak out for a walk myself, and then I'll make sure I go and talk to her. Hey, what's your name? No, I can't just up and ask her like that. Maybe I should tell her my name first. I'm Takuya. Who are you? Or is it silly to tell her what my name is when she hasn't even asked? So what's wrong with you? No, she's been here at least as long as I have. Whatever it is can't be anything small. So yeah, no way can I open with that. That comes later. Much later. Nice weather we're having. Now, what am I, 90 years old? I need to say something hip. We could start by using words that are, you know, more contemporary than hip. You come out here all the time, huh? No, it's terrible. I might as well say I've been watching you. She'll think I'm a stalker. Do the old Simpsons method. So, you like stuff? In the midst of his internal debate, Takuya happened to cast his gaze back out into the courtyard, and there she was, standing right under his window. She wore a white cardigan over her pajamas, standing with her head tilted back and her eyes closed, basking in the light of the sun. The angle finally gave him a good look at her face. The wind caught her evenly cropped bangs, blowing them back to expose the delicate curve of her forehead. She looked deeply happy as she stood, breathing, a gentle smile across her face. Oh my god, she can move! That's more than I could say about Takuya. This looks like such a title screen right here. I guess it is. Heartbeat of Spring. Gorgeous music, by the way. Takuya felt as though she were smiling at him, and it brought a tightness to his chest. He'd always thought that it would make him impossibly happy were that angelic smile ever to turn his way, so why did it hurt so much instead? He saw her open her eyes back up, and he hurriedly backed away from the window. She saw me! Or did she? No, there's no way she could see and hear with the glare. But what does it even matter? I was going to talk to her anyway, right? So go on, get out there. Fighting his nerves, Takuya moved back to the windowsill. She was gone. Bad end. And then he turned back. Everyone else was gone. He immediately thought of his resignation letter in his head. Where had she disappeared to? Takuya scrambled out of his room and rushed to the elevator. It'll be alright. My muscles aren't too stiff. Today is a good day. Takuya? Takuya, where are you going? He recognized the voice of a familiar nurse calling out from behind him, but he ignored her and jammed his button on the close button. He jammed his button. Great. He jammed his thumb on the close button. Once he was down on the first floor, he made his way to the courtyard exit, slipped on some sandals, and headed outside. He pretended to be out for a walk as he wandered in search of the girl, but went the length of the courtyard and back to the spot under his window without finding her. That's odd. Usually she stays out here a lot longer. You look a little pale. Are you all right? Asked a voice. Huh? How'd you miss that? He turned and saw the girl sitting on a nearby bench. Takuya took half a step back in surprise. Somehow he missed her in the shadow of the trees. I'm sorry, she said. Did I startle you? No, not really. You look like you're in pain. Should I go get a doctor? She was right. He wasn't used to so much walking. I'll be all right. I just need to rest for a bit, he said. Relieved he managed to answer. Lately his words hadn't been coming out all that well. So, you sit here often, do you? No, damn it. My name's Takuya. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it! The girl stood up and reached a hand out to him, but Takuya couldn't bring himself to take it. Instead, he simply sat down on the bench. Not too close to her, but not too far away either. This was just right. His heart had suddenly begun pounding, but he couldn't tell if it was because of his exhaustion or because he was so close to her. So, you're the boy from that room up there, right? She pointed to his window on the second floor, and Takuya had to stifle a gasp. A little earlier we made eye contact, didn't we? Did we? Takuya mumbled, averting his gaze. I was just spacing out. I didn't notice. I've seen you up there from time to time. You look lonely. Are you not able to leave your room much? She didn't notice that I'm always looking at her. Good. Yeah, I get tired real easy. I see. I'm not able to get very much exercise myself, but they told me that when I'm feeling well enough for it, I should get up and walk around a bit so my leg muscles don't get weak. You have a problem with your legs? No, with my heart. And they say the legs are like a second heart. They play an important part in blood circulation, so if my leg muscles get too weak, it's bad for my health. You know how when a racehorse breaks a leg, it winds up dying? I guess it's sort of like that. Her tone was cheerful enough, as if she talked about this all the time, but the thought filled Takia with sadness. So, he began. Yes? Do you mind if I ask you your name? As he fumbled the words out, the girl broke into a beaming smile. That wonderful smile, the one that until now he had only seen from afar so many, many times. Suzune Endo. The Suzune is written with the characters for bell and sound, so like the chiming of bells. Suzune, the chiming of bells. It was a name that suited her soothing voice perfectly. Suzune Endo. Suzune Endo. Takia repeated the name to himself over and over. What's your name? Takia? Takia Kazuma? Takia Kazuma, huh? That's a pretty cool name. Where have I heard Kazuma before? Maybe Yakuza? Like, I hope I have that right. Like Kiryu's father figure? I guess it means tough guy or something. Not that I live up to that. Oh, that's okay. My brother's tough enough for both of us. The truth was that Takia was always embarrassed to tell strangers his name. I don't know about that. You seem pretty cool to me, Takia. So how old are you? Takia's heart sank. Only kids had to be told they were cool. What? I'm 14. What about you, Suzune? From afar, he hadn't realized how tall she was. Taller than him. He. And probably older. I'm 17. He'd thought the difference would be less. 3 whole years apart? Takia's heart sank further. Now she seemed even more unattainable. As he tried to think of a way to nonchalantly ask Suzune where her room was, he heard the slap of sandals approaching. Suzune! A boy came running up. He was young, maybe in first grade or so. Hi, Ken. Long time no see. This your brother? Takia asked. Nah, he's in the room next to mine. Oh, there you go! Who's this? The boy clung possessively to Suzune's knee as he peered at Takia. This is Takia Kazuma. He's a patient, like us. Huh. Hey, I got some candy. Want to eat it? The boy tugged on Suzune's hand. Ah, yeah? Alright. Then, Takia, I'll see you later. Yeah. Later. Later? Later when? Am I actually going to get to see her again? As Takia watched the young boy drag Suzune back inside, he felt a bitter surge of resentment. It's just like Achi thinking Hitomi's into older guys. It's like, damn, Suzune's into this first-grade kid. Son of a... He'd thought that finally getting the chance to talk to her would make him feel a lot better. But instead he felt worse than he had back when all he could do was stare at her through the window. The sunlit garden suddenly struck him as cold and desolate, so he trudged back inside, his muscles faintly shuddering with each step. The end. Oof, rough. He made his way back toward the elevator to find the head nurse waiting in the corridor, glaring at him. Oh no. He kept his head down and tried to slip on past her, but she snapped at him as he drew near. What were you talking about with Miss Endo? Were you conspiring against me? You were conspiring me against Endo. Well, the joke's over. I ruined it. You were conspiring against me, weren't you? Planning to bring the whole hospital down, weren't you? Weren't you? Huh? Takia blushed at the idea that she'd been watching them, but he soon realized she was being serious. You shouldn't get too close to that girl. She's dangerous, I tell you. Why not? He asked. She may not look it, but she's seriously ill. Neither of you has the ability to fend off a major infection, and we certainly don't want you to go catching anything. The nurse looked away as she spoke, rattling off the words. Well, he can't catch a heart condition, can he? But they let her go outside like that, right? Yes, that's true. But Takia, why in the world did you go out? Did the doctor tell you to go for a walk? No. But I thought that, since I was feeling pretty well and all... You expect me to believe that? You're shaking. Come on, let's get you back to bed. Well, she dropped it. The nurse ushered Taki into the elevator and escorted him back to his room. He was actually quite exhausted, and so he quietly got back into bed. Nurse? Takia called out to her as she was leaving. Yes? Suzune, Miss Endo, I mean? She's got a bad heart, doesn't she? Did she tell you that? For whatever reason, the head nurse seemed quite shocked that Suzune had shared this information. Yeah. What is she sick with? It's something very serious. That's why you ought to leave her alone. But she's going to get better, right? Takia regretted the question the instant he asked it. The nurse's grim expression was answer enough. A sweet and cheerful girl like that had an incurable illness? For a while, Takia couldn't even believe it. After the nurse had left, he stared at the closed door in a daze. From that day on, Takia kept up his vigilant watch on the courtyard, sneaking out of his room whenever he caught sight of Suzune. Bit by bit, the two of them began talking more. Sometimes she'd come out 2 days in a row, and sometimes he wouldn't see her for nearly a week at a time. Other times he would wander the hospital corridors in search of her room, only to be intercepted and sent back to his own room by the head nurse. Oh my god, almost movement! Suzune was quite popular. Most especially the old men, old women, and young children at the hospital all seemed devoted to her. Middle-aged kids, like teenagers, 20-somethings, not a friggin' chance. Their faces lighting up whenever she was around. She was kind enough to listen to all their rumbling or trifling conversations. Takia was equal parts impressed and baffled by her ability to relate to them. I could never put up with that sort of thing. More than anything, though, her popularity was frustrating. He would have had much more time alone with her if all these people weren't always around. So he decided to kill them all! He felt like he was at the last in a long line of supplicants waiting for her to grace him with a few moments of her time. Well, yeah, you're gonna be last in line if you literally never approach her, kid. But after she learned about Takia's condition, perhaps out of some strange form of camaraderie, Suzune seemed to develop more of an interest in him. Wilson's disease? Also known as, hepatolenticular degeneration, a congenital abnormality of the liver cells, in which the cell's ability to eliminate excess copper from the body is impaired, leading to copper accumulation in the liver, basal ganglia, corneas, and kidneys. Woof. The disease can cause difficulties with movement and neurological problems, and often leads to further complications, such as acute hepatitis and cirrhosis of the liver. Jeez. I've never heard of it. Is it serious? Suzuna's concern seemed entirely genuine. For a brief moment, Takia was almost happy about his rare and grave condition, but he couldn't say that, of course, and so he just nodded. Yeah, if you look, you can see that my eyes have turned kind of brown. Takia pointed at one of his eyes to indicate the pale brown ring in his cornea. Abnormal buildup of copper can cause brownish rings to appear along the edge of the cornea. These are known as Kaiser-Fleischer rings. Kaiser-Fleischer? It's something you're born with, where copper builds up inside your body. I'd get really tired super easily, and when the doctors checked me out, it turned out I had hepatitis caused by Wilson's disease. My liver was already seriously damaged, and the only thing that'll fix it is a transplant. That's why I'm in here. But finding a compatible donor has been hard. Wow, so both of them have really difficult donor situations. Meowington, I don't know if this kid's going to give her his heart because I don't think his heart's the right type. Or at least we haven't touched it, but we'll see. I guess we're in the same boat. You need a transplant too, Suzune? Yeah, I'm still waiting. I have what's called dilated cardiomyopathy, a condition where a structural change in heart muscle cells cause the ventricle walls to become thin and distended. This decreases heart function, and as the condition progresses, it can lead to heart failure, arrhythmia, and other issues. Victims of the disease have a high probability of sudden death at a young age. At the present, a heart transplant is the only cure for the disease. They've tried other forms of treatment, like limiting food and water intake for long periods, putting in an implanted defibrillator, and other things. An implanted defibrillator is a device implanted within the body that delivers an electrical shock to a heart that has gone into cardiac arrest due to arrhythmia caused by ventricular fibrillation or ventricular tachycardia. These implants are an effective defense against cardiac arrest, but when triggered, they can also cause intense pain in some patients due to the electrical energy involved. So they've tried doing these things and other things, but it looks like a transplant is the only real solution. Dilated cardiomyopathy? Defibrillator? What are those? Takuya didn't understand all the vocabulary, but it sounded like her condition was even worse than his own. But the biggest problem, Suzuna continued, is that there just aren't a lot of heart donors in Japan. And moreover... Abruptly, she fell silent. A look of loneliness crossed her face, then she turned back to Takuya with a reassuring smile. You'll find a match soon, Takuya. Everything will be fine. And you'll find one too, Suzune. Isn't that right? Takuya felt like something was caught in his throat. It was hard to get the words out. Yeah, if I'm really lucky. Suzune hesitated before continuing. But even then, I doubt I'll be able to get the surgery. Her tone was so matter-of-fact. Why not? Takuya asked. My family doesn't have much money, so we can't afford to get surgery overseas. But it's alright. I don't really like the idea of being saved by getting some poor brain-dead person's heart. I mean, that's what it comes down to, you know. Hello there, Kent. Unless someone else dies, I can't be saved. If I had to think of some family out there grieving over their loss, I wouldn't be able to be happy, even if it did mean I got better. Takuya had never thought about that. Just imagining part of some stranger's body getting put inside his own was more than scary enough. Still, if he had to choose between that and death, well, it wasn't even a contest. But if you don't get a transplant, then everybody dies. That's just how it is. For some of us, it just happens earlier than for others. You can't just give up like that, Takuya cried. I won't survive unless I get someone's liver. But if I'm lucky enough to actually get one, I'll be happy about it. The doctor told me that people only give their organs on death because they want to. They want to save lives. Suzune appeared flustered. I'm sorry. I know that's the way I should be thinking about it. I'm sure that things will go well for you, Takuya, and that they'll find a donor for you, and you shouldn't hesitate to get that surgery. By getting better, you'll be honoring the dead, in a way. But... She let out a sigh. That's not going to happen for me. Why not? Well, my blood type is really unique. I don't think a compatible donor is ever going to turn up. A unique blood type? Takuya stammered a little as he asked. You mean like Rh negative? Suzune shook her head. You've probably never heard of it. It's called Bombay. They say only a few dozen people have it in all of Japan. One of that handful of people would have to happen to go brain dead. Then they'd need to get that person here before their heart stopped. And then the surgery itself would need to go well enough. That's too many coincidences to hope for, you know? Takuya was too surprised to say anything at all. I'm not about to live what's left of my life expecting that I'll win the lottery like that, Suzune said. It's better to focus as best I can on what I can do. On what you can do? What do you mean? Well, there are a lot of patients here like you and me who have been here for a very long time. Most of them are senior citizens whose families rarely, if ever, come to see them. And I kind of enjoy listening to older people talk. They've all got plenty of interesting stories to tell, but more importantly, it brings smiles to their faces, having someone who will listen to them. They tell me that for a little while it's like they're young again, like their pain has gone away. And seeing them smile, it makes me happy too. I want to make friends with as many people as possible, to learn about as many people as I can. I don't have time to wallow in my own misfortune. Takuya had assumed that, unlike himself, Suzune was as cheerful as she seemed to be because she had hoped that she'd get better. He had been suffering through his own illness and had thought day in and day out about how unlucky he was to have been born with it. Though he hated to admit it, he had long since discarded any hope that they'd find a donor and give him a successful transplant. Until he met Suzune, he'd lived every day cursing his fate. Their circumstances were so similar, so why were they so different? Suzune. Suzune was like an angel. Takuya felt like a miserable excuse for a human being. I have to spend to spend... Come on now, help me out here. I have to spend a lot of time resting in bed, Suzune said, so I read a lot. Novels, essays. Sometimes I try reading more difficult books on philosophy. I don't always understand a lot of it, but sometimes it just clicks, you know? And I read high school textbooks sometimes too. Well, except for math, I've given up on that. Takuya didn't like reading. When he was in his room, he just watched TV. A lot of the time, the only shows that were on were garbage, and he knew they were garbage while he was watching them, but there wasn't anything else that caught his interest. His motivation to study was non-existent, and he certainly didn't have any textbooks in his room. It wasn't like he was going to go on and live a full life, get a normal job, have a normal family, so what point was there in studying? That's what he had always thought, at least. Am I just wrong? And... okay. Halfway through her dinner, Suzune found that she'd lost her appetite. Her mood was bleak. Hello there, Spectral Star. Why did I get so high and mighty with Takuya like that? All I ever do is pretend to be the person I wish I was. In reality, all I do is worry about just when this heart of mine is going to stop. I know it's normal to be afraid of dying. I practice smiling for my father and my brother. I don't want them to see my fear. I was happy and a little bit shocked when I realized that my fake smiles actually worked. My smiles might have been forced, but the ones I got from those old men and old women and all the little kids, those were real. Oh, hey, Suzune. Hey, old young lady. Everyone's always so happy to see me. At some point, Suzune had realized that she was no longer able to tell if her own smile was fake or not. She wasn't lying when she said that the smiles on other people's faces brought her joy. But every now and then, the loneliness returned. She wished she could tell someone how scared she was, and finally let herself shed the tears she'd held in for so long. But she'd never been able to do that to either her father or her brother. She didn't want them worrying about her any more than they already did. Her pulse grew erratic. Her intense heartbeat hammered, like the hoofbeats of a horse at full gallop. A type of abnormal heartbeat known as a gallop rhythm. Instead of the normal 2-beat lub-dub rhythm of a healthy heart, it consists of 3 beats, resembling the sound of a galloping horse, so I guess like da-da-da, an indication of potential heart failure. A sensation she'd known since childhood. Then she felt an intensely painful electrical shock course through her. Her implanted defibrillator had activated. God, that's rough. After suffering through the pain for about 10 seconds, she felt her heartbeat stabilize. I'm alright. My heart is still pumping. But despite her relief, it was impossible not to think about her how time? Come on, help me out here. To think about her how time? To think about how her time was drawing ever closer. If you're in pain, just say so. It's okay to admit it. With a start, Suzune looked up and saw a nurse in her doorway. She hadn't even noticed the door opening. Was it time to have her temperature taken again? She hurriedly put on the mask of a smile. Oh no, I'm okay. It's all calmed down now. Your illness isn't the problem. Hiding it is. If you need a little comfort, just ask. Suzune was at a loss for words. It was dark outside, and with the lights in her room turned off, she couldn't get a good look at the nurse's face. The woman was tall and slender, and had a rather nice build. Was there a nurse like that on staff in this ward? She couldn't remember. What are you talking about? Suzune felt her smile warp as she struggled to conceal a sudden upwelling of sorrow. You're facing your condition like an adult, but from your father's perspective, you're still his little girl. It's completely natural for your family to worry about you. This person knows who I am. I'm not sure how, but she knows everything. Suzune let her mask fall. She looked down at her hands, balled tightly into fists, and she let the tears come. I want to be a strong person, but I can't do it. Everyone tells me what a strong and cheerful girl I am, but it's all a lie. The world spilled out as her emotions came rushing to the surface. I'm afraid of dying. I'm afraid of getting surgery. I'm even afraid to go on living. What scares me more than anything is when night comes. I'm afraid every time I go to sleep that I might not wake up again. I thought that if I kept pretending I wasn't scared, that eventually I'd be able to fool myself. But that didn't happen. I'm the only one I can't fool. I think you're plenty strong. Huh? Everyone's afraid of death. That's why they try their hardest to look away from it. Why they try to forget during the day-to-day that it's coming. But you face it every day. Face it head on. You're a stronger girl than you think. Everyone else probably underestimates your strength. The nurse's voice was smooth and soft. Her words flowed over Suzune, washing away her darker emotions. That's why you shouldn't push yourself so hard. If you keep trying to face all your fears by yourself, then one day you might break. It's okay to let it out every now and then. Vent your frustrations. You're fighting so hard every day, there's nothing wrong with asking for a little help. The nurse sat down on the bed and began to gently stroke Suzune's hair. If you're ever afraid to go to sleep, call for me anytime. I'm always here for you. I'll watch until you wake up in the morning. That should help, yes? I couldn't ask you that, is what Suzune had meant to say. But the comforting warmth that enveloped her stopped the words, carrying her gently towards sleep. It was a feeling she'd nearly forgotten. Like something from very long ago. But from when, exactly? When Suzune awoke the next morning, the nurse was gone, but she did not despair. If she ever needed her, the nurse would be there for her again. Of that she was sure. Good morning, Miss Endo. The nurse who came to take her temperature was the usual one, not the one who'd been there in the night. Good morning. A natural smile came to Suzune's face. She felt deeply grateful that she'd gotten to live to see another day. The weather was nice, so after lunch, Suzune headed out into the courtyard. More than anyone else, she hoped to run into Takuya. She'd understand his outlook on the world the moment he learned of his condition. Plus, it was kinda cute seeing how hard he tried to hide the way he felt. It's kinda funny. The fondness she felt for him was like that for a younger brother. At some point, she realized that they had a special bond. There was a sense of solidarity, knowing that they were both waiting on a transplant for an otherwise incurable disease. She wanted to say that the thing she told him the day before, that was just her searching for an ideal, something to live up to. She wasn't philosophical, she wasn't enlightened. She just wanted to be honest about how hard it was every day. Surely he would understand. But Suzune didn't see Takuya in the courtyard that afternoon. She made small talk with several other patients, like she usually did, then headed back to her room. I got a bad feeling about this. Takuya didn't turn up the next day either, nor the day after that. She would look up at his window from the courtyard, but she never saw him. Where was he? Had his condition taken a turn for the worse? Was he no longer well enough to go outside? Suzune had never been to the second floor where his room was, but she knew the first floor well enough that she could guess the layout well enough to avoid getting lost. With that in mind, she decided to pay Takuya a visit. She went up to the second floor, walking slowly as she eyed the nameplates for the rooms along the courtyard side. There, right about where she expected it to be, she found it. Takuya Kazuma. She'd been afraid that his nameplate has been removed. If it hadn't been there, that would have meant he'd been discharged. That his room had been swapped for some reason, or else... As Suzune was about to knock, a voice called out from behind her. Miss Endo? She turned around to see an unfamiliar nurse standing there. Perhaps she was in charge of the ward, or had seen Suzune walking around before, and that was how she knew her name? Yes? Suzune asked. Were you looking for Takuya? Yeah. I hadn't seen him in a while, so I was wondering... I'm sorry. Takuya wants to get out more than he does, but honestly, he's not in any shape to be moving around much. We're worried about infection as well, so we've limited visitors. You probably shouldn't be wandering this far yourself. The nurse pointedly pulled the sliding door to Takuya's room closed. If I could just see him real quick? No. the nurse snapped, then hurriedly cleared her throat and spoke more softly. You wouldn't want his condition to get worse, would you? They both said the same thing. Suzuna saw that she'd have to back down. She returned obediently to her own ward. Curious. But she had a hard time accepting the fact that she couldn't visit Takuya. Does that nurse have some kind of grudge against me? Not only does she know my name and know about my condition, she must also know that I've been talking with Takuya in the courtyard. Does she think I'm the reason his condition has gotten worse? Suzuna knew that his health wasn't as good as he might have claimed, and she felt a little guilty that she hadn't been as considerate as she perhaps should have. After that, whenever Suzune went out for a walk, she made a point of swinging by Takuya's room, asking several nurses and doctors about his condition. They would always say he was doing fine, but staunchly refused to let her see him. This is bothering me. Where have I heard this before? This sounds familiar. Is he maybe already? Suzune couldn't help but imagine the worst. Is everyone just working together to keep me in the dark? But why would they do that? Do they think I'm his girlfriend and they're trying to keep me from the shock of finding out or something? No, that was ridiculous. Besides, this was a hospital. Suzune knew full well that they didn't have the time to put on some weird piece of theater after a patient had passed away. There must be some other reason. Some reason they don't want us to see each other. Willing to do whatever she could to discover the reason, Suzune tried changing the time of day that she stopped by Takuya's room. Maybe, if nobody was watching, she'd be able to sneak a peek inside. If someone happened to be coming or going, she might even be able to get a look at his face. But Suzune never imagined the way she'd finally wind up seeing him again. Oh boy! Here we go! On that day, she had been hiding behind one of the heated meal carts, used for delivering dinner to the patients. She followed the orderlies as they brought the cart toward Takuya's room. They'd have to open his door in order to bring his tray inside. But before she reached his room, the door swung forcefully open, and a bed was swiftly pushed from inside. Ooh. Oh, is he getting the surgery? Doctors and nurses, their faces pale, ushered it along, pushing the meal cart out of the way as they raced down the corridor. Takuya lay on the bed, his eyes closed, his face severely jaundiced. He didn't appear to be conscious. Takuya! Suzune cried out without thinking. One of the nurses glanced back at her briefly before disappearing from sight with the others as they brought the bed into the elevator. Wow, so they weren't lying. His condition really is bad. Takuya. As Suzune stood there dumbstruck, her eyes strayed to the open door to his room. With shaky footsteps, she went inside. He's got a book. Takuya's room was largely the same as her own. There was a locker by the entrance, along with a small refrigerator. Over by the window was a TV stand. Next to that was a bookshelf, packed with books. Really? She picked up one of the books atop the bedside table. It was a beginner's primer on topics such as organ transplantation and brain death. On the bookshelf were other, more difficult-looking medical volumes intended for experts. Takuya's been studying up on diseases? Sounds like particularly her disease, right? I wonder if he's been holed up in here reading these the whole time. Maybe he'd overdone it studying. That would be a cruel irony. Suzune prayed to a god she had never before believed in. Please, Xenu, save him. Oh my god, kind of vocalizations. Is this a first? Takuya blearily opened his eyes. This wasn't his room. An artificial respirator was fitted over his nose and mouth, and several tubes ran between his body and a hemofiltration machine. Vinyl curtains enclosed the area around his bed. A machine that regulates electrolytes and removes waste products from the blood in lieu of the kidneys, used to assist patients with decreased kidney function. Purifying the blood too quickly can, however, result in a collapse of the body's electrolyte balance, leading to headaches or muscle spasms. He was in an ICU. That's intensive care unit. A clinical facility that allows for focused around-the-clock treatment and monitoring for patients with severe and life-threatening illnesses or injuries. Also used for patients whose conditions might potentially become critical, or for patients requiring an extreme degree of care following surgery. Several people bustled frantically about. The last thing Takuya remembered was being in his room. Was that minutes ago? Or has it been days? Excuse me? Could someone... Takuya paused. His voice didn't even sound like his own. Doctor? He's regained consciousness, a nurse announced. At that, the face of his attending physician, Dr. Sayaki, suddenly came into view. He was wearing an operating mask. Takuya, the doctor said. Please hang in there. Takuya! It sounded like his father and mother were there, on the other side of the curtain. If the staff had called them here, did that mean he was on the brink? What day is it? What was that? The respirator was making Takuya's voice hard to understand. Hey there, Diego. He struggled to form the words. Today. What day is it? It's April 5th. April 5th. There were still over 3 weeks to go until his 15th birthday. What was going on? It's too late to save me, isn't it? You mustn't say things like that. How much longer do I have? Will I make it another month? Sayaki lowered his eyes. No guarantees, then. Please, Doctor. I just need 3 more weeks. Please do whatever you can to let me live for just 3 more weeks. I can't die yet. Dr. Sayaki nodded, a thoughtful look on his face. Is there something you can do? Please, I don't want to die yet. I haven't done anything yet. Please, just a little more time. There is a life-prolonging procedure. Highly experimental. However, I don't care about the risks. I just don't want to die yet. There's something called an artificial liver system. Clinical trials have only just been concluded in Japan. Although a liver dialysis machine can be thought of as a sort of artificial liver, an actual liver carries out much more complicated metabolic reactions that dialysis cannot completely replace. For this reason, biohybrid liver replacements combining mechanical functions with active live liver cells from pigs are currently under research. With clinical tests having been conducted in the United States. The hope is that these bioartificial devices will someday be able to keep those with failed livers alive until the necessary transplants are available. It's a device that uses cells harvested from pigs. If things go well, rather than just 3 weeks, it might be possible to keep you alive until a donor turns up. The mention of pig cells was startling, but right now is no time to be squeamish. Please, Doctor, if there's even the slightest chance, it's worth it. This is so freaking intense. I got like 2 or 3 bad endings, and now I've just been watching this epilogue the entire time. After Takuya was rushed to the ICU, Suzuna went to check up on him every day, without regard for her own well-being. Day after day she visited, only to be told that he was still in an unconscious state. 3 weeks went by without a change. Yeah, DJ Gamer, what? Yeah, Takuya has the Bombay blood. Oh, he needs to be at least 15 to become an organ donor? Wouldn't that be interesting? Watch it be something ridiculous, like Suzuna gives him her liver, and she gives him, or her, his heart. 3 weeks went by without a change. Then, one morning, while passing by the kitchenette on her way to the ICU, Suzuna overheard some nurses talking. Did you hear? Takuya's regained consciousness. For better or for worse, poor kid, he keeps saying that he doesn't want to die yet, that he wants to live. He's only, what, 14? The young nurse's voice was tearful. Suzuna felt a new kind of pain in her chest. He's running out of time for a transplant, and with that rare blood type, are you freaking kidding me? Rare blood type? We didn't need to shoot Hitomi in the freaking head after all. Suzuna stopped in her tracks, then rushed back to the kitchenette. Excuse me, what do you mean by rare blood type? The moment she saw Suzuna, the nurse clammed up and tried to slip away. Please, hold on! That rare blood type! Is it Bombay? Suzuna shouted. The nurses exchanged an awkward look with one another, and though neither of them said anything, Suzuna knew that she was right. This is so, like, I'm happy we're gonna get a happy ending, but this is really contrived. Takuya has Bombay blood, too. This was a hospital with high-end facilities that drew patients with incurable diseases from all over the country, so maybe it wasn't such a remarkable coincidence. Transfusions for rare blood types such as Bombay were difficult to come by at regional hospitals. There were some advantages to having another such patient on hand nearby. But there were downsides, too. Now the inexplicable behavior of the doctors and nurses made sense. They'd been trying to keep Suzuna and Takuya from each discovering that the other had Bombay blood. Why? I mean, who knows if they would volunteer their organs, but like... It was unsettling enough to know that someone else of the blood type, only possessed by a few dozen other people in all of Japan, was hospitalized right alongside you, but when both of you were waiting for compatible donors in the hope of receiving a transplant, that was enough to upset anyone's composure. How must Takuya have felt when she told him that she had Bombay blood as well? If I die, she could live. Something like that must have crossed his mind. The fact that he'd started studying up about transplants again must mean he'd been thinking of something. What in the world was he thinking? Dude, come on. If our positions were reversed, what would I have done? Suzuna knew what she had to do. She headed for the ICU. She got there just as Dr. Saeki, who was her own attending physician as well, emerged from inside. Miss Endo. The doctor stopped, surprised. Suzuna drew herself upright and looked him right in the eye. Doctor, please use my liver for a transplant for Takuya. You can perform a living liver transplant, right? If you need to take half or even 2/3 of it, then please, by all means. For a moment, Dr. Saeki looked as if he'd taken a punch to the face, but soon his expression resolved into a sad smile. You heard about the blood? Suzune nodded. I'm afraid that won't be possible. A living liver transplant is dangerous enough for a healthy person. Someone in your condition would never be able to tolerate the surgery. You can do it when my time comes then, Suzune said. Regardless, Miss Endo, I can't carry out a living liver transplant between complete strangers. The law doesn't allow it. Oh, that's the problem. If the two of you got married, that'd be a different story, but that's not possible either. Neither you nor Takuya can legally marry until you're 18. Well, my birthday's tomorrow. Married? Suzune never thought about such a thing, but if marrying Takuya would make the surgery possible, she'd do whatever it took. But apparently the law wasn't going to allow for that either. Extenuating circumstances, man. Forget the marriage. Just do the damn surgery. Well, I don't care what the law says. If I'm the only person who can save Takuya, then please take my liver. Doctor, please. I'm afraid what you're asking simply can't be done. You need to focus on your own condition and on getting better yourself. I'm beyond saving anyway, though, right? So please, I'm begging you. Takuya needs... As Suzuna grabbed hold of the doctor's gown, pleading, a sharp pain shot through her chest. The galloping heartbeat was back. No, her pulse had never been quite like this erratic before. Her mouth opened and closed reflexively. She was unable to breathe. Doctor, please. An electrical shock went through her from the implanted defibrillator. The world faded as she slowly collapsed to the floor. I love that, like, a document is what makes it okay to, like, exchange organs when both people are willing in the first place. Suzune had a long, long dream. Hey there, Barry. Her father was in that dream. And though Suzune couldn't clearly remember her face, her late mother was there too, trying desperately to save her. And then there was Takuya. Takuya was smiling. A genuine smile. A smile that Suzune had never seen. Takuya's mouth was moving, but no sound came out. She tried to read his lips. Thank you. Thank you? Wait, what do you mean? Suzune cried out as she woke. She was staring up at a familiar ceiling. She was back in her own room. She spotted her older brother. I can jump to him? What the hell? Achi, sleeping in a folding chair nearby. Just a check. What the hell is this? Huh. Achi? The word creaked raspily from her throat. Huh? Suzune? Oh my god, he's not wearing his jacket. You awake? Her brother rose from the chair that excitedly scampered out of the room. With a start, Suzuna realized something was attached to her chest. She felt a peculiar sensation, 6 distinct tingles, all running from the center to the left side of her chest. Electrocardiograph electrodes. She followed the leads that ran from her chest to the monitor by her pillow and was surprised to see the waveform moving across it. It was her pulse. And, amazingly, the rhythm was solid and strong. Nothing like the one she'd been familiar with for so long. No, that's not my pulse. Suzuna realized what she was seeing. She understood instinctively. This heart, it was Takiya's. Achi returned with Dr. Saeki, who proceeded to check the various monitoring devices by the bed, nodding and smiling with satisfaction. It's good to see you awake again. For now, there don't appear to be any signs of rejection. Of course, we'll need you to be vigilant, but this new heart seems to be a good match for you, Miss Endo. It's Takiya's, isn't it? Please tell me it's not. I told you I wanted him to have my liver. Takuya was dead. Ooh, wow. I didn't think we were going to go there. I guess he couldn't take her heart. If she had his heart now, there was no way he was still alive. Dr. Saeki looked away, and for a while he said nothing. When it comes to who your donor is, I'm not at liberty to say anything. You understand that, right? But how was he legally allowed to take Takiya's heart? Unless Takiya already died. That must have been what happened. That's rough. So instead, let me tell you how things went for Takiya in the end. Yeah, that this guy's being nice and working his way around it. You two were friends. Boyfriend and girlfriend, maybe? Either way, you have a right to know about his passing. Takiya's passing. Suzuna had already imagined as much, but now she couldn't hold back the tears. Takuya is dead. He's dead. Dr. Saeki went on. Takuya begged me to help keep him alive just a little bit longer. His family agreed, and so we proceeded with an artificial liver system, a treatment that's relatively untested here in Japan. For a while, his symptoms abated, and he even regained consciousness. The doctor took a breath. But it was already too late. He lapsed into a coma due to acute liver failure, and then developed complications, a condition known as DIC, which causes clotting in blood vessels throughout the body. Initially, we thought he might have hepatic encephalopathy. Encephalopathy, yes. But a CT scan of the head revealed cerebral edema. He was declared brain dead 2 days after his birthday. He was 15 years old. Dr. Saeki gave her a significant look. Suzuna wondered what that implied. Probably with the chat called already, he was just old enough to donate. He was insistent that he make it to 15, Saeki continued. He said there was something he absolutely needed to do. On his birthday, he called for his family, and told them, I want to register as an organ donor. There it is. Huh? Here in Japan, individuals under 15 years of age aren't allowed to give consent for organ donation. If Takuya had died before he turned 15, then his heart, all of his organs, rather, could not have been provided to a patient in need. And that was something he wished for very much. Takuya had been reading up and studying, and he learned that he needed to survive until he turned 15. And he asked for life-prolonging measures to be taken, all so that he could register as a donor in order to give me his heart. And I don't know who it was, but apparently a surgeon was able to perform a transplant for a patient believed to be an ideal match for his heart. I don't know who it was. Where the hell did the surgery take place? Like, how do you not know who it was? What the hell does that even mean? Evidently, this patient was also comatose in an extremely dire state. A patient believed to be an ideal match for his heart. This patient was also comatose? But from what I hear, the surgery seems to have gone quite well. Of course, I do not know the identity of the... Oh, I get it. I totally dropped the ball on this. Yeah, he's not allowed to say that he did it. So he's just like, yeah, somebody got his heart somehow, wink. I don't know the identity of the patient either. Takia really wanted to be an organ donor. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the heart that you just got from someone matching Takia's description. Yeah, okay, the doctor's being kind. There we go. Suzune strained to move her right hand, setting it at the top of her chest. Underneath the layers of the bandages, she could feel a heartbeat, steady and strong. Takia's heart is beating within me. Yeah, basically Dr. Saeki was like, well, I'm not allowed to tell you that Takia donated his heart, so I'm not going to tell you. He left a letter for you. I haven't looked at what's inside, so I'm not sure what it says. Dr. Saeki set a white envelope down on the bedside table, then left the room. Yeah, Fakafan, for real, there's like nobody in this game who's unlikable. Including Kiryu, because he's just a guy you love to hate. Achi? Read it to me. She didn't feel strong enough to read it herself. But she didn't want to wait. You sure? Achi asked. Alright then. Let's see. Achi opened the envelope, slid the letter out, and began to read. Suzune? If you're reading this letter, that means everything has gone well. Congratulations. And also, thank you. Ever since I became sick, no, even before then, I hadn't known what it was like to be happy. I hated the world. I went through my whole life just thinking about how pointless my existence was, an excuse for a human being with no reason to live. What did it matter if I was here or not? I actually had to keep up with that, it's going without me. I hated that I was going to die so young, but at the same time, it seemed pointless to try to live any longer. And then I met you. I fell in love. With you. I love you, Suzune. With all of my heart. With you in this world, I wanted to go on living a little longer, because living would actually have some meaning. When I found out that we had the same blood, I was shocked. It had to be fate. Right? Neither of us was going to be able to survive on our own, but if one of us sacrificed ourselves for the other one could go on living. And I wouldn't be able to bear any world without you in it, Suzune. The answer was clear. I want you to have my heart, Suzune. That's the best possible thing for the both of us. You're probably a little sad, knowing that I'm gone now. I'll be happy if that's the case. But will you please be happy for me, now that my heart is inside you? That would make me even happier. Happier than anything. Thank you so much for taking my heart. It'll beat for you as hard as it can. I hope. I wish we could have talked more. If it had only been possible. I would have liked to have gone somewhere with you. But it's okay. This way I get to be with you forever. I won't be lonely anymore. Goodbye. I'm looking forward to our future together. Takia Kazama. Achi's voice grew gradually more hoarse, no kidding, as he read. By the end, he was struggling not to weep. Damn it. Did it really have to be like this? Suzuna was more astounded than she was sad. Of course she was upset that Takuya had died, and she was glad that she was going to live. But above all, she was amazed by the fact that Takuya had cared for her as much as he had. That he'd fought so hard to prolong his own life just to save hers. That moved her more deeply than anything she'd ever known. Maybe a young crush couldn't be called real love, but that didn't make it any less pure. Thank you. Goodbye, and I'm looking forward to our future together. That was a really, that was a heavy ending, but that was really heartwarming. And by the way, now that the game is over, I really didn't want to break the mood, but that single tear thing, man, it's not the fact that it's a single tear, but whenever I see it depicted that way, it irritates me every single time. Why? Because your tear duct is in the inside of your eye, not the outside. The single tear should be coming closer to her nose, not the outside of her head. Maybe she gets a pass because she was lying face up and maybe enough tears welled up in her eyes to, flood, but that wouldn't make a single tear, now would it? And everything gets this wrong. Everything. It's always a single tear on the outside of the eye, the other side. It's wrong in every depiction of media ever, and it drives me nuts. Think about it. If for some reason you could distract yourself the next time you're crying, where's the tear? Closer to your nose, that's where. But for real, this was a damn good story, and I'm really glad it worked out. I find it interesting, though, that the entire Achi plot in this game with the Man of the Cane came to nothing, and it wouldn't have needed to happen anyway. Can you imagine if they had actually killed Hitomi and gotten her heart, and then Takuya was, just right there? Could you imagine? But that was super good. That was a solid ending, and I'm happy we got to see someone else's, Yeah, Dragon Ace, I know it's less dramatic to drip off your nose, but, it's distracting when it's the other side. But no, this was a damn good story, and I'm really happy to see that we've, I'll address the comment in a second. It's really cool to see that they're, we get to see more of the future. And by the way, this was the Suzuna ending. There also is a true ending. That's something else. Yeah, Winterburn, maybe it's you who's been crying wrong, Lotus. You think of that? Damn, I've been crying wrong the whole time. Son of a bitch. Oh, Meowington, final block choices. Yeah, actually, honestly, Heartbeat of Spring. Honestly, I kind of want to do the bad endings in order, but I also want to get the final block choices out of the way, because they're all the same. They're all, Mysterious Explosion and stuff like that. Actually, wait, here's a question. Before I reload my, my file, ending 7 now, right? We got the Suzuna ending. Before I reload my file, I would just like to get the chat's opinion on a certain matter. Should I take care of the final choices, the final wrong ends in the last time block where everything was coming to a head? Or should I go for the pop quiz? I just want to see what people think about this one. I want to feel this one out really quickly. So I'll give people a moment to make their decisions here. Because either way is a legit option. Yeah, Fakafan, what the hell is the jump to Achi? I don't know what that's all about. That's so weird. Oh, Barry, I'm gonna get the platinum. You better believe it. Alright, so we have 1 vote for quiz. Would anybody like to see alternate bad ends? We have 2 for quiz. Yeah, Meowington, quiz is probably short, fair enough. Quiz, yeah, it's looking like everyone's going with the quiz. I'll go for that. And I also have a list of what the right answers are. I'm not going to look at it yet, but it'll be nice to be able to cover for any wrong answers I might get when we do this normally. So let me see. Where is the thing? Pop quiz answers. Okay, there are 11 questions. So, all right, let's go. Bonus content. Knock this out. And apparently nailing the quiz unlocks something too. 428 pop quiz, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus. The UA virus is approximately this many nanometers in diameter. 3 digits. Dude! I'm looking this one up because give me a goddamn break. Okay. It is 100. I kind of want to get an answer wrong. Let's see what happens. Answering pop quiz questions correctly will let you read special episodes. Enjoy the tale of Asao Ozu and Yutaro Segawa. Hell yeah. Yes. 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 Ozu snarled at the young man who sat before him in the dingy little office belonging to Takarada Financing. Do you understand what it means to break a promise between men? The man glared back at him. What do you want me to say? He muttered. Ozu had seen that same look plenty of times before, and he despised it. It was the look of a man who hadn't realized he'd already lost. God damn, 2 people said 100 in the chat? Holy crap. How talented are you guys? Ozu had seen the same... Ozu hated people like that more than anything. 5 million, and the interest on it hasn't been paid. When was the payment for that interest due again? Yesterday. Well, if you knew that, then how come you haven't paid it? Ozu's voice rose to a bellow that practically shook the windows. He couldn't tolerate anyone breaking promises. No exceptions. I understand. Despite Ozu's fury, the man seemed unconcerned. I'll work it off. I'm in shape. His upper arms sported bulging biceps. They were the arms of a fighter. Or if that's no good, I could always sell my organs, the man added nonchalantly. Really? It struck Ozu as a ridiculous offer, the suggestion of a clueless youth. Listen, pal, you can't just up and offer to sell your organs. Your parents would want you taking better care of yourself. I have taken care of myself. And so my organs... Stop jerking me around! Ozu lurched to his feet and kicked the table hard. I'm not jerking anyone around. I'm being serious. The man looked squarely back at Ozu. What'd you spend the old 5 million on? The older man grumbled. If I tell you that, will you wipe the debt clean? Of course not! Again, Ozu kicked the table. The young man shrugged. I needed some funds to set up a bank transfer scam. Oh? Ozu straightened up reflexively, picking up the scent of money. But a scam like that requires a fake account in someone else's name. Yes, it does. I tried to go through some black market channels to get one, but, well, I just wound up losing my money over and over. The man continued, describing how he'd blown through over 1.5 million yen before landing the fake account. I figured that once I had the account, though, I'd be able to make something work. So this is how Toyama did it? Huh. Thinking that his fraud scheme needed a bigger team, the man had tried to recruit some scam artists online. He'd ponied up 3 million to use for advance funds for the effort, but once he'd given it over to the team he'd assembled, they'd all skipped town the next day. Now, desperate, he'd taken the remaining $500,000 to illegally purchase a list of easy marks. Said list contained the phone numbers of several dozen elderly people who had fallen for such bank transfer schemes before. The man had tried making his way down a list, calling one number after the other. None of the numbers on the list, however, actually wound up connecting to anyone. Rather than craft his own fraud scheme, the man had fallen victim to one himself. You were looking for some suckers, but got suckered yourself, Ozu snorted. Yeah, the man grumbled sullenly. Look, could you please just let me make a quick phone call? A phone call, huh? There's another mark I've been working on since this morning who just needs a little more coaxing. If I pull it off, I might be able to pay what I owe. There was no way this guy was pulling off a scam. From all he'd heard so far, Ozu was sure of it. But that made him all the more amused at the thought of letting this guy have his call. This I gotta hear. Go ahead, make your call. Ozu turned the phone speaker on and handed the receiver to the other man. With the notebook in his other hand, the man dialed. The phone rang several times, and then someone picked up. Hello, Grandma? It's me. Did you get the money? Oh, Masa, is that you? How's school going? I'm already working now, Grandma. Didn't I tell you? Oh, yes, that's right. How lovely. How's your homework looking for today? Oh, and make sure you come straight home and don't buy too much candy while you're out. The old woman on the other end of the line sounded completely senile. Ugh, this is brutal. She was under the mistaken impression that this man was her grandson. So anyway, Grandma, you remember what we talked about last time? Did you get the money? Money? Was there something that you wanted? No, it's not like that. Do you remember a phone call from earlier? Phone call? What do you mean? Those two weren't even on the same page. Ozu frowned skeptically as he listened to the back and forth. Remember I said I'd been in a car accident? I hurt someone really bad and I need to pay a settlement. Masa, you don't need to lie, you know. Lie? The man looked panicked. I'm not lying. It's alright. Grandmothers can tell this sort of thing. But I'm not lying. I bet you really wanted to buy some new video game. It's okay, Masa. I've got enough saved up to buy it for you. Don't you worry. I've been all alone ever since your grandpa died, and so I'm just happy when you call me. Buying you a video game is the least I can do. The joy in the old woman's voice left the con artist at a loss for words. Your father and your uncles never come around to see me anymore. I'm so very happy you called. Thanks to you, I feel I might live another 10 years. Forget 10 years. I want you to see 100 more years, Grandma, the young man managed to rasp. His eyes had grown blurry with tears. This is amazing. Masa? Yeah? Will you call me again? Yeah, I will. That's a promise now. I will. I swear I will. Alright, I'll talk to you later then. The man hung up the phone. Oh, they'll make that into a movie for sure, Ozu said with a faint chuckle. You really have no sense for duplicity whatsoever. The man hung his head. But there's something even more forgivable to me than that. Ozu took a step forward, looming aggressively above the other man. The fellow began to tremble. Real men don't break promises. Ozu snatched the debtor by the collar and dragged him to his feet. I'm gonna have you work off what you owe me real slow. The man blinked in confusion. You're gonna work under me for the rest of my life. And you're gonna keep up your act with that old lady until she dies. Both of them feel bad for the grandma. Huh? I'm not letting you break your promise to call her. Suddenly, a tiny hint of kindness showed through Ozu's gruff expression. Several years have passed since then. The younger man still makes the rounds with Ozu, still deep in debt. Wow, so the young guy, the young badass punk, like, is himself in debt to the older guy. That's legendary. His name is Yutaro Sagawa. His schedule for today involves collecting money at the apartment of some broke actor, putting pressure on the president of a publishing company with cash flow problems, and then shaking down some shady guy who's trying to sell some weird diet drink. This is too good. That's amazing. Hint, what? How did you enjoy that tale of the Loan Shark's first meeting? We hope you found it entertaining. Now, here's some tempting info for you. In Osawa's story, in the 12 o'clock time block, rubber gloves appear at some point. During that scene, the background zooms away, right? Try waiting for that moment to finish, and see what happens. Have fun with that, and see you next time. What? I think there are, like, some extremely obscure hints for getting some extra stuff that, like, a guide is required for. So now I gotta play Osawa's entire block and just find movement with rubber gloves. Ugh. I ain't doing that, but, like, I'll use a guide, but that apparently is, like, an obscure hint for something. But that was great! Special episode, baby! We got an episode of bonus content! Yeah, baby! Detective Sasayama's pet name for his wife. Oh, I do not remember this. Okay, oh, thank you, Meowington, for writing it down. Hey, chat. What's Sasayama's pet name for his wife? I completely forgot this. Anybody know? Because otherwise I'm looking it up, because I don't remember this at all. Was it Angel? I don't think it was like a name. Was it Angel or something? I'll look it up right now, but I'll see what the chat has to say. Oh, it was not Angel. I was way off. Jeez, not even close. Oh, Meowington got it. I don't know how the hell you do it. Winterburn Sasayama was the cosplay cop. Yay! Goofy-ass Tom!
正解
Correct. One chilled curry soba. Oh, her. Maki Yoneda. One chilled curry soba and make it tasty. What are you talking about? Maki Yoneda snapped from the kitchen. Everything this old gal makes is tasty. She grabbed the bundle of soba noodles and tossed them roughly into the roiling pot. Humming a tune to herself as she tended to the soba, she heard another faint humming join in, seemingly from out of nowhere. Alright, let's do this. A tiny voice had come from down by Maki's feet. Another day for making delicious noodles. A different voice, this time from the shadows of the dingy kitchen shelf. Is that? Oh, yeah. A series of diminutive fingers, each about the size of a pinky finger, leapt out from amidst the haphazard assortment of spice jars. They lined up on the floor, these tiny little fairies, 7 in total, all carefully keeping out of Maki's line of sight. They were food sprites that had come from Italy, and they protected the flavor of Dogen Hut's soba noodles. Their leader, Mario, specialized in meat dishes. Salvatore could track down fresh ingredients at the blink of an eye. Cheerful Antonio was a wizard when it came to sauce. There was Marcello, a wine connoisseur and the most sarcastic fellow in the world. Franco, the neat freak, loved a clean and tidy kitchen. None could outmatch the pasta-making skills of Fabrizio, who had a divine touch. Roberto, the quiet one, could tell you all about pizza dough. Alright, Maki set the finished bowl of chilled curry soba on the kitchen table. Now, while the woman's back was turned, the sprites added more salt and dashi stock to the noodles. In the blink of an eye, the soba's seasonings were refined to perfection. Magnifico! With their work complete, the fairies hid themselves once again. This is freaking weird, man. Just why are these 7 food sprites taking up residence at Dogen Hut? The story begins 2 years prior. Yeah, DJ Gamer, now it makes sense. This was originally a Wii game. That's true. Mario and the others had been dwelling in a 3-star restaurant in Rome when they'd heard rumors that there were 5-star restaurants popping up all over Japan. Naturally, as food sprites, they couldn't just stand idly by. Hey everyone, let's go to Japan! And so, heeding Mario's rallying cry, the gang snuck aboard a plane bound for Tokyo. Let's go! But after finally arriving at their destination, they were unable to find any 5-star restaurants anywhere. By the time they realized that the rumors they'd heard had in fact been mere rumors, they were starving. Nearly on the verge of death. They wandered about aimlessly until they arrived in Shibuya. Then, as they tottered their way up Dogenzaka, the aroma of curry tickled their noses. The scent came from a soba restaurant called Dogen Hut, partway up the hill. Hey there, Karen. Yeah, right. When you don't realize you have Pearl Jam as a stand, no freaking kidding. The sprites peeked inside and saw Maki and her husband busily at work. Sneaking into the kitchen, they found that the scent of curry was wafting from a porcelain bowl? Probably bowl, right? On the counter. This was Dogen Hut's house specialty, chilled curry soba. Despite their misgivings, the sprites stole themselves a taste. What? What is this? The food sprites looked at one another in surprise. The dashi, soy sauce, and curry all come together in perfect harmony. The smooth and chewy noodles offer a different appeal than pasta. From pasta. The group shouted in excitement, caught up in the moment. So taken were they by the chilled curry soba that they decided to settle down in Dogen Hut's kitchen from that day onward. But then, the owner of Dogen Hut fell ill and passed away. After Maki took over her late husband's restaurant, it quickly became apparent that she had no talent for cooking whatsoever. Really? The whole story of the main game was a frickin' lie. Shockingly, she couldn't even tell the difference. You're losing me, Shibuya Scramble. She couldn't even tell the difference between salt and sugar, rice wine and vinegar. Okay, dude. If you can't tell the difference between salt and sugar, I don't know what to tell you, man. And she had no idea how to make the soup for the chilled curry soba, sometimes tossing things like curry-flavored rice crackers and meat and potatoes into the pot. If Maki were left to her own devices, the restaurant was sure to go under. We're the only ones who can save this place, Mario declared. None of the others had any objections. The flavor of the chilled curry soba was worth any effort. And today, yet again, that specialty soba was delighting customers' palates thanks to the helping hands of the sprites. Okay, Maki called out. One chilled curry soba. Sorry for the wait. As delicious as ever, man. You really can't get this flavor anywhere else. Down by Maki's feet, the sprites frowned. We're the ones who made it, though. Maintaining the flavor of the restaurant's dishes was certainly worth doing. Recently, however, it had begun to feel a little empty. Nobody knew that it was the food sprites who made the soba special. Maki was the one who was always praised for how tasty it was. There was no finer joy in cooking than seeing the smiles on diners' faces. But despite all the sprites' hard work, no one ever had a smile for them. They needed to remain hidden, but the lack of recognition still left them feeling rather lonely. Oh, that's right, Maki announced brightly. There's been some talk about releasing a Dogen Hut recipe book. With a start, the sprites looked up at her as one. The old woman was clearly overjoyed. Uh-oh. What do we do? A cold sweat broke out across the sprites' foreheads. This was Maki here. She'd probably write about how she made the stock using curry crackers and stuff, but as busy as you are as running the restaurants, do you even have time to write a book? The customer asked between happy slurps of his soba. Oh, don't you worry about that, Maki declared with a broad grin. I'll get it written in my sleep. The customer blinked in disbelief. You can't write a book while you're sleeping, he said. Yes, I can. There are these little sprites who will write it for me while I'm in bed. What? Oh, come on, now you're just talking fairy tales. The customer chortled loudly. Shocked, the sprite stared up at Maki. Wait, one of them whispered. Does she? Added another. Suddenly, Maki cast her gaze downward. You'll handle the book for me, won't you? She whispered. You've known all along? The sprite's jaws hung agape. Of course I have, Maki murmured with a grin and a chuckle. I don't know how to make chilled curry soba that tastes that good, so thank you. Because of you, my husband's restaurant has been able to go on. And when they saw the big smile on Maki's face, the sprites knew that all of their effort had been worth it. Well, guess we've got to help out then, Mario said. It'll take a bit of overtime, but we'll write your book for you, ma'am. I'm not sure I like the idea of revealing our recipes to the public, though, Salvatore muttered. And we'll have to put our hearts into the rest of the menu items, too. Not just the chilled curry soba, Fabrizio added. Despite all their grumbling, though, the sprites couldn't keep their happiness from their faces. Alright. Freaking weird. How did you enjoy that tale of the loan sharks for what? Uh-oh. What are you doing to me? There it is. That was weird. Did you enjoy our maybe it's because you could loop the hints. Did you enjoy our tale of Dogen Hut's unexpected secret? Shake off your amazement because it's time for some new info. In Tama's story, in the 14 o'clock, so the 2 o'clock p.m. time block, that suit she's lugging around on her back sure looks heavy. Try taking a good look at her hauling that weight. What might happen? Happy hunting and see you next time. This freaking game. Alright. Finn, I guess. And again, we can get 11 episodes of bonus content. The Shibuya rabbit hole runs deep, man. I'll do one more. The discounted price for a miracle stone, including currency. What does that mean? I type in YEN. Discounted price. Was it like 10,000? No, wait. She needed... How did this work? Was it 10,000? Huh. And thank you again, Meowington, for taking the note. It was like, wasn't it 20,000? And then it was brought down to like 10? 5,000? There was a quirk with it. There was a quirk that took it down from 10. Was it to 5? What did she do? Like helped him or something? Or traded something in? Oh, that's right. Yeah, not the necklace. The miracle stone. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Meowington, how do you know this off the top of your head? This is like obscure trivia. Alright, so yeah, that is what it is. How do I... Ah. Boom. Okay. 5,000 yuan. Hey! Congrats. Yes! Yes! I missed this guy. Junichi Yanagishita. And now it's first person? What? I was in France on business at the time, staying in a cheap apartment on the banks of the... How do you say it? Seine? Monsieur Yanagishita, you must pay those 10,000 euros at once. Yeah, that was how Marcel Portier, a general goods trader, greeted me when I opened my apartment door. Yuh-oh. It was the most unsophisticated bit of French I'd heard by far in my time there along the Seine. Ah, well, you see, this is all rather sudden. 2 days earlier, I had purchased some health products from Marcel. We agreed that I could pay the 10,000 euro bill a month later, and now here he was telling me I needed to pay up at once. Monsieur, if you would please, 10,000 euros, right now. Marcel, I'm sorry, but I don't have that money, I replied with my own halting French. Wow, so Yanagishita has, like, a little bit of French? Wait, Meowington, they give you hints before asking the question? What? I missed this? We had a deal that I could pay a month from now, didn't we? That's not what I want to hear, monsieur. What I want to hear from you is, oui, Marcel. Don't worry, I'll have it right away. I hadn't yet sold any of the health products I'd procured from Marcel. I was flat out of cash. Oh, the dialogue before revealing the secret episode in the beginning? Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Meowington. I couldn't have paid up even if I'd wanted to. What in the world is going on? Why are you suddenly demanding that I pay right now? Monsieur, I need that money. Whatever it takes. By this evening. He pointed a finger at me. You absolutely must have it by this evening. Otherwise you'll find yourself sinking to the bottom of the Strait of Dover. I'll be in touch. Yeesh. And with that, Marcel departed. Aw, man, now what am I gonna do? That bit of grumbling there was in Japanese. Not a 10,000 euros anywhere. My reflection in the waters of the Seine looked miserably distorted. Yanugi? I looked up. There was only one person who called me Yanugi on account of not being able to pronounce my name. Isabel? The woman my heart had once burned for stood in the doorway. And now it is my hammer that burns! The burning hammer I hold in my hand! Actually, is that burning hammer? Isabel, what are you doing here? Work. I'll be here in Paris for a while. I see. Well, what a coincidence. You're as beautiful as ever, I see. And your hairstyle is the same as ever, too. The sight of a familiar face bolstered my spirits, at least somewhat. She may have firmly rejected my advances, but I still loved her all the same. I've been hearing a lot about you, Isabel told me. The businessman who hops around all over the world. Oh, I'm just always living on the edge is all, and when you're doing business with the world, sometimes, even though you know it's dangerous, you need to leap off that edge. Well, so there's this product that I simply had to recommend to you. Here. Isabel pulled a doll from her handbag and presented it to me. What's this? Isn't it cute? It's a mascot based on Indonesian folk art. Don't you think there'll be a huge hit in Japan? It had bumpy green skin and bloodshot eyes. There were sharp claws on the ends of its lizard-like hands and feet. Not only was it not charming, quite frankly, it gave me the creeps. Look, I'm sorry, Isabel, but I don't think I need something like this. Why not? Why not, huh? No matter how I looked at it, this just wasn't a design that would sell in Japan. Go on, push on its back. Huh? It's back, give it a push. I did as instructed. The doll's arms and legs waggled, almost apologetically. See? Isn't that marvelous? Well... My brows knit as I tried not to frown in front of her. But she sensed my efforts, and her expression turned sad. Oh, you don't like it, do you? How many of these dolls do you have, I asked, feeling something like pity. Around 3,000 or so. Wow, 3,000. Would you take them off my hands? Look, I'm sorry, but I really can't. But if some other opportunity comes along... I see. I guess I should expect that. I guess I should have expected that with a doll this creepy. Isabel turned her back to me, forlorn. And then she muttered softly, I've been thinking of throwing in an extra 10,000 euros if you took them off my hands, but... Oh? What was that just now? Whoa, hey, hold on, Isabel, hold on. I hurried around the front of her. Could you repeat what you just said, please? You said if I took them off your hands for you? I'd throw in 10,000 euros. That's it! I thrust my pointer finger forward triumphantly. With 10,000 euros coming in, I'd be able to pay what I owed Marcel. Okay, Isabel, because it's you, I'll happily take those 10,000 euros. Well, I mean, it's the dolls, not the 10,000 euros. Please, give me those 10,000 euros. But the dolls and the 10,000 euros. Okay, I'll bring everything here. How about tonight? No, now, before tonight. I can't do that. Tonight is the soonest I can make it happen. Guess I don't have much choice. I'll just have to make Marcel wait a little longer. I remember that last part so that Isabel couldn't hear. So, alright Isabel, tonight then. Thank you, Yanagi. And don't forget the 10,000 euros. Don't worry, I'll have it for you in cash. Isabelle held out her hand. I really do appreciate this. I'll see you later tonight, then. I shook her hand firmly. Likewise. Bonsoir. Looking quite happy, Isabelle departed. Whew! Looks like I've got the 10,000 euro thing settled. I let out a breath I hadn't even realized I'd been holding. When evening came, Marcel returned. Do you have the money? No pleasantries, just right to dunning me. I decided not to point out his impertinence. Oh yes, absolutely, I replied, grinning as I gave him a thumbs up. Really? Haha, you really are my best friend. Now, hurry up and hand it over. With a bright smile, Marcel held out one hand. Well, I can't give it to you right this minute. Why not? Didn't you just tell me you had it a few seconds ago? Please, you'll just need to wait until tonight. The 10,000 euros are coming then. Merde! Marcel snapped, red in the face. Please, Marcel, surely you can wait a bit. We're best friends, right? Hear me out. That's all I ask. You're not my best friend, you're a liar. He who will steal an egg will steal an ox. Look, Marcel, calm down. If you just take it easy and wait until tonight, I can give you the money, I promise. Or would you prefer that I take that swim in the Strait of Dover right now instead and give you nothing? That put Marcel's railing to an end. Hello there, da-da-da. At that, he finally agreed, but he insisted on waiting with me. And so we both waited for Isabelle, there in that cheap apartment. I sat on the floor holding my knees, and Marcel followed suit. I suppose you must despise me for this, huh? He mumbled. He picked up a spoon that was lying on the floor near his feet and hurled it through an open window into the Seine. It disappeared with a sad, lonely plunk. I can't blame you, he said. What with how I showed up out of the blue, demanding that you pay up. Next, he tossed an alarm clock in the river. You know. To see time fly. There was another plunk, as before. I suppose I owe you a proper explanation, Yanagishita. Marcel was going to throw the TV remote next, but I reached out to stop him. Oh, tell me, Marcel. So, I've been saddled with some merchandise. It's a real pain, he began. The light of the setting sun shone upon his face. I could now see the bags underneath his eyes. The man looked exhausted. They say that whoever owns this stuff is cursed. His eyes quivered with fear. They say also that the curse stays with you until you can foist it off onto someone else, he continued. So it's the Magrino Man from JoJo Part 8, huh? Anybody? Everybody knows the Magrino Man, right? Right. I had no idea what he was talking about. Why can't you just throw the stuff out? If you do that, the curse only becomes more powerful. Now he was trembling dramatically. Yeah, that sounds right. Whatever had spooked him, he wasn't his usual self, that was for sure. What's happened to you because of this curse so far, I asked. Well, for example, I am loath to recount here what Marcel told me next, but suffice it to say it was horrifying. Really? Oh my, that's awful. And so I marked these things down to what's practically a giveaway price just to be rid of the lot. But I haven't sold a single one, and the warehouse storage fees aren't exactly insignificant. Marcel shook his head from side to side, his expression positively haggard. So then I thought maybe there was some fool someplace I could push the inventory off onto. Just give it away. If I threw in 10,000 euros to go with it, someone had to be dumb enough to take it, I figured. Oof. Is this whole town cursed? I see. That's why I needed the money so urgently then. At last, I understood. But it's alright now. A little while ago, one of my colleagues called to say they found just the right sucker. That's good to hear. Yeah, so I need to go with them to hand over the money along with the product inventory. I see. You're a lifesaver, Yanagishita. Merci beaucoup. No, de rien, Marcel. Huh? What? What was that? Come again now? But man, it's hard to believe someone was dumb enough to actually want this stuff, even with 10,000 euros thrown in, Marcel said. He let out a little chuckle. Hold on a sec. Marcel, can I ask you something real quick? What is it? Oh my god. Oh my god, that's why Isabelle couldn't get it until tonight. She has to get the crap off of Marcel and then pawn it off to me, so I can pay Marcel back. It's a loop of idiocy. And not only that, I'll pay Marcel, but then I'll be cursed with the stuff. This colleague you mentioned, the one who found your sucker, it's not a woman named Isabelle, is it? Oh, you know her? Yeah, Isabelle's great. Got a real knack for finding marks. She's quite the lady. I did the mental math. I give 10,000 euros to Marcel. Marcel gives that 10,000 to Euro. 10,000 euros to Isabel, along with the cursed merchandise. Isabel gives me the 10,000 euros of the dolls. So I give it to Marcel. Marcel, these cursed goods, do they happen to be creepy green dolls? Oui, monsieur. He flashed a broad, toothy grin. I slapped myself on the forehead, good and hard. The end. Yeah, again, we're doing the last thing. Did you enjoy our tale of Yanagishita's bittersweet younger days? If you slapped yourself on the forehead along with him, we've got some new information for you. In Kano's story, in the 15 o'clock, so 3 o'clock time block, there's a scene where Kano and Stanley are running. Maybe try sticking around for a bit. Take a good close look, and we'll see you again next time. This game is a freaking legend. Hey! This game's too good, man. Yay! This game is way too good. Oh my god. I feel bad, but I gotta stop the stream now. You're the one making the blah argument here. We'll come back. But this is freaking great. Now, what if I go into the pop quiz? Does it take me straight to question 4? Yeah, it does. Okay, we're cool. We're cool. And thank you again, Meowington, for taking down the note. Yeah, here we go. Special episodes. What the? 1, 2, 3, 12. Right. What? And these are still all previews? Okay. What the? Oh, those are the hints. The game wrote them for me! Hey! Wait, just take down the sites? Oh no. Yeah, okay, we got it! Okay, so special episode 12 is just the hint for special episode number 1. We got it! Ladies and gentlemen, we did it! Video games. God, this game's so damn good. So good. So good. Anyway, thank you very much for joining the stream, and have a wonderful night.